Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's Doom, and yeah, I'm gonna be doing a different style of video today. I don't know if y'all have ever watched FaZe Jev, but it's one of my favorite YouTubers, and he kind of just talks over videos and plays. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna just talk about some drama that's going on in the Marvel Rivals community right now, because I think it's a big concern for a lot of people in the state and balance of the game, in the way the developers listen to the players. Yeah, I'm gonna start up a game, and then I'm gonna start talking about it. But yeah. Basically, so if y'all haven't seen it on YouTube and stuff, the big support strike, quote unquote, that's happening, was basically caused because of Necros, I think, was the big, like, turning point for it. This is all just word of mouth, and this is all basically what I've seen the majority say, so don't take my word to heart. Everything I say is just personal opinions and stuff that I've seen, okay? Basically, supports were told that they were too easy, so they support stroke for a while. Stroke? I don't even know what the correct word is. They went on support strike for a while. I don't believe that support strike's a real thing. I think it's a petty thing to do if you told your role's easy. If you enjoy your role so much, just complain it. Who cares, right? If someone told me tank was the easiest role, I really could care less. I'd argue that because I think tank is the hardest. But, you know, I digress. But yeah, basically, supports were told the role was easy. They got mad. They support strike, quote unquote, and it was a negative effect for a lot of people. And what this showed for not even just the longest period of time, but just this community in general, is that this community really hates each other, man. Like, actually, people hate each other so much depending on what role they play, which is like a civil war, basically. And it's not fun to see because this game is a team-based game. You need each other to win. Everybody needs each other. Every role is important. And I think we shouldn't hate each other. I mean, it just goes for everything, including in real life, right? But in this game especially, it's a team-based game, and it's less important, right? This isn't as serious as I make it out to seem. But I love to talk about this stuff because it gives me something to kind of just yap about, right? Man, I'm not doing good right now. But yeah, it really showed something in the community, is that everybody really hates each other, and it's kind of sad. Hold on, I gotta... Yeah, but no, everybody hates each other, and I think it's really sad to see in a team-based game. I think I repeated it a couple times, but I mean, it's the biggest point of this video, is that this support strike proves that basically every role hates each other. From the majority of comments and debates that I saw in the community, it was just people lashing out at each other for playing different roles in each other and trying to give opinions on each other, and it just kind of... Wow. That went terribly. And this goes back to, like, Overwatch. A lot of people say that this is Overwatch's community hating each other, and I disagreed with that because Marvel Rivals has more players than Overwatch 2 had at the time of its release. And I'm pretty sure it still has a more concurrent player base than Overwatch 2. Do not quote me on that. I have no idea. I'm just making bases off of the amount of, like, retention I've seen online for Overwatch videos compared to Marvel Rivals videos. Again, all word of mouth. I'm not facts. You are here to, you know, believe my opinion. You get to choose if you believe me or not. But yeah. But back to the really important part of this. What this caused the developers to do. What this caused the developers to do was to try to make some sort of balance changes to fix this. Which this isn't really like a support is weak thing. This is a support is being made fun of for being too easy. Dives meta, which isn't a support problem. I'm dead here. But yeah, it wasn't really a support problem, and I didn't think supports like were in a bad state or nothing. A majority of the supports in the game, I would reckon, are very, very strong. Not like to the point, well, okay, that's an argument for another day if supports are overpowered, but I think a majority of the supports play a very big role in the game, and if you don't have support, you can't win. Which in turn, I think that makes them relatively easier if a support role is extremely strong, right? I'm doing horrible right now, wow. Okay. Basically, this caused them to buff support. Well, okay. The 2.5 patch notes were they're not out, right? But they gave us an insight into what they were going to do, which, in their own words, they were going to buff the damage of some supports. Now, relatively, I don't think the supports' damages in this game are low for what would be a support character. I think the damages are relatively high. And I don't think buffing support is the right idea for basically what was just one dive meta, right? Supports need a way to counter dive. But if we up the damage of supports, what separates support from DPS? Why would we ever play a DPS if they can do the exact same amount of damage and just, you know, heal you too, right? That's a better role. I think that's a good concern to have. Yeah, I think it's a good concern to have, right? Because this same thing happened in Overwatch originally. Well, kind of. There was the support power creep of Overwatch 2, and then there was Briggs release. Now, the concerning part about this is who do we have on the launch, on the horizon to be brought into the game? A support that, with their leaked kit, has drones that, don't quote me on this because it's what it looked like, can protect and heal their teammates. So, what I believe to be an anti-dive support, I just let my teammate get freaking mauled. I'm so sorry. Which is scary, because this same thing happened in Overwatch with Brig. When there was a dive meta, they brought Brig out, which was basically, I'm so terrible in this game. But Brig was basically anti-dive. Brig was basically anti-dive, and it's scary to see it in this game because I don't want Marvel Rivals to make the exact same mistakes that Overwatch made. The GOATS meta was terrible. Again, I will correct my information if I'm wrong, you know, from talking about in this video. I'll correct my information, I'll throw something up if I'm wrong, because I'll do my research after the video and correct things, because I think the majority of what I'm saying is correct. But, yeah, it's just scary. But yeah, if any of you disagree, like feel free to disagree with me in the comments again, because it's just worrying, because Marvel Rivals is one of my favorite games out right now. It's Marvel Rivals and Overwatch. I'm just kind of, you know, switching between them because Marvel Rivals has problems, obviously. But when one game gets bad, you can switch to the other, right? Because they're competition for each other. Yeah, no, it's worrying. Because the same thing happened to Overwatch, like I said, and buffing the support's damage when they already are relatively high sounds like a nightmare to play against, honestly, to be completely real with you. Luna Snow has a really high CC stun. A lot of the supports also have really high survivability. So them having high damage and high survivability, which they already have relatively decent damage, and they can output DPS levels damage sometimes, and, you know, not sub out for a DPS, obviously, which they should never be able to completely sub out for a DPS. But buffing the damage of a character that has extremely high survivability, like, they'd completely be undiveable, and then the matches would consist of basically stalemates of who gets a support ult first, which doesn't that already happen? But it would get even worse. And this is coming from a guy who plays all the roles, right? I'll play whatever role we need. I'm probably the flexiest flex of the people I know. I love Venom and all, but I will flex whenever needed. I play tank a lot. But yeah, the people saying this is Necro's fault, that's also wrong. I don't think him saying something which was in Season 1, which people forget that it was in Season 1 when, you know, Cloak and Dagger was relatively easy. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention about this whole support thing was the strategist getting less points in comp. Some strategists were getting way less points now because they changed the rank system at the start of this season, which I actually forgot to mention. Sorry, that's something I should have mentioned way earlier, but, you know, this is why we keep the video going and we keep the talk going. I forgot to mention that they changed the way stuff worked. So, if I'm not mistaken, this is what I heard online. They changed the rank system to be more. It sounds good at first, okay, but I'll get to the point where it's bad. To get more points based on performance. The performance basically counts kills and deaths, right? But that doesn't count for, you know, space being made, healing. I think it didn't count for healing. Just, again, don't quote me on that. But it doesn't count for that stuff. So, for example, if you play Mr. Fantastic, which Mr. Fantastic's really strong now, but just a good example, you play Mr. Fantastic and you just attack their backline, you never die, and you force out support alts to force out stuff that they need to do, and don't get many kills, right? We'll say you go thinking 15 and 4. You would get way less points than the teammates or Squirrel Girl player who is literally just sitting there and spamming down a choke point. It's basically info-based matchmaking, right? Instead of everybody getting like an even cut, and that goes for supports. Well, our whole backline just got destroyed. I'm actually gay. So I had to cut the video because that match was bad. I just didn't talk for the rest of that match. That match was bad. We didn't even make it past first point. Back to what I was saying about supports. Yeah, high damage. Mantis already has high damage. A lot of the supports, just looking at them from bases, just have high damage. They can get their ults really fast, even with the increase in support ult, right? It's just worrying for the state of the game, right? Because I love this game. The only reason that I complain about this game, the only reason that I complain about Overwatch, the only reason that I make these complaints is because I care about the game. This game is amazing. The characters are amazing. They've been preset characters in Marvel for a very long time. And the way that they, NetEase has implemented them into this game is some of the best I've ever seen, adaptations I've ever seen, ever. So I just wish the best for this game. And I think this sounds like a completely negative thing for the game to increase support's damage because of the complaints. I think the better option would be to change around the dive if that's really the problem. Or change the rank system, which I'm pretty sure they confirmed they will be changing the rank system. So, good on them. Yeah, we still have a month, or is it a month? Hold on. Oh no, it's. Wait, I'm an idiot. No, it is a month. It's like a month until the half season, right? Like 2.5. I don't know, but basically a month, right, till the half season. So we've got some time to give feedback and for them to take feedback. So yeah, this is the first time I've actually recorded an outro in a while because usually I just kind of take footage and then match it together and edit it. So yeah, it was nice talking with you, friends. This is Opinions of Doom. Love you all. God bless you all. And bye.